My dear Wibbiteers, my name is Chris Biffle, and this is another program to help you with instruction. I'm broadcasting live on August 7th. I'm getting ready to start the show, and here we go, my friends. Let's set up the screen. Move this over a little bit. Move this down a little bit. And move that over right there. Teaching Challenging Kids 101, Week 1 Goals. I'm Chris Biffle, also known as Coach B, with WholeBrainTeaching.com. Here's our next screen. We're used in 30 foreign countries, 70,000 members, 2 million views on YouTube, and educators have downloaded over 10 million pages. BuzzBee Buzzer, one of the world's most popular education websites. Thank you, BuzzBee. Well, you're welcome, Coach. I'm glad to be here. BuzzBee, you got a little bit more to tell us. BuzzBee says, if you can't watch these live, that's okay. You can watch any webcast 24/7 in the video library on the homepage of WholeBrainTeaching.com. Thank you, BuzzBee. Here's two of our friends, Biffy Bluebird and Bobby Bluebird. If you want a copy of these slides, you're going to get details at the end of the program, and you can get professional development credit. We are just racing along, my friends, because we have an incredible program for you tonight. Let's just go to a couple more screens before we jump right into what should you have accomplished by the first week. We have a ton of people working towards whole brain teaching certification. Nancy Stoltenberg, our director of WBT certification up in the high desert, is helping folks move towards increasing their whole brain teaching skills. And what's it all about? You earn certification points largely by writing stuff about whole brain teaching and posting it on the forum. You can go all the way from a WBT novice to a WBT board certified international presenter. The key boundary is at level 5. You need 75 certification points. You need to make an exemplary video, pass an oral exam, and score 90% on our online certification test. So I'm just looking right now. Who among my online friends is working towards whole brain teaching certification? And notice, as the program develops, we're weaving the golden thread of fun even through the certification program. It's becoming more and more like a game. Yes. Oh, my friends, so many of you. Well, Chelsea, go ahead. We're developing some new game features for whole brain teaching certification, and it's just going to get more and more fun. Here's our question for tonight. If you're working for certification, what are the strengths and weaknesses of whole brain teaching's Week 1 goals? Post your answer on the forum at WholeBrainTeaching.com under the topic WBT Certification Webcast Week 1 Goals. Let's just look at where that is on the forum, my friends. If you check it out, I'm scrolling down the screen. There it is right there. You see that? I'm putting it in red. Put your post there about week 1 goals, which is today's program. And you can get from 50 all the way up to 75 certification points. Oh yeah. More and more games coming up for certification. You play a game, you get certification points. Here is our friend JJ Jive. Where should I be at the end of week 1, coach? You know, JJ Jive, that's a great question. I see the worry written all over your forehead, but let's don't jump ahead. Here's where you should be at the end of the first hour. My friends, take a look at webcast 532. Let's just check out where webcast 532 is. We'll scroll our screen up a little bit and show you the location of this incredible video library right here. You see this library? And when you click on the little black arrow, you bring up 30 webcasts. All right. So, as a review, check out the first hour webcast 532. Where should you be on day 1? We covered that, webcast 533. For K1, webcast 533. For second, fifth, webcast 533. And for beloved secondary, same thing. It's all there laid out for you. But now, we're on to the big question, Nervous Nita. But what about the whole week? Nervous Nita, thank you. You're asking the question that is on everyone's mind. Here it is. Where should you be at the end of the first week? My friends, just tell me, what are the kinds of things that you really want to have down by the end of the first week? There's 2 main things, and I think you're going to know one, but I'm going to stress number 2 in a second. The rules, the procedures, that's right. Class, yes. Brainiac, class rules, that's right. Core 4, Heather Zer. Rules and procedures. Yes, my friends, there's one other major point that you are completely missing. And the reason is, I haven't told you what it is yet, the second big thing after procedures. I will tell you. And also, my friends, I will reveal, if I'm liking the vibes that I'm getting, I will reveal the forgotten jewel of WBT wisdom. Let's just stop here a second. Take a look at this screen. Week 1, I want you to accomplish 10 things. Sounds like a lot, but each one is fairly short. There's 10 of them, from the 5 rules with gestures to the forgotten jewel of WBT wisdom. I'm going to go through them now, nice and slow. Where should you be at the end of the first week? Number 1, 5 rules with gestures. You're going to practice those rules 3 to 5 times per day. Change your pace, tone of voice, and start student leaders late in the week. Yes. Review the rules with the gestures. Make it fun. Weave the golden thread of fun through even the gestures. At the end of the week, you can then start to have student leaders come up and say Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3, Rule 4. End of week 1, in kindergarten, in secondary, everybody knows the rules and the gestures, and it's boom, 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 boom. That's number 1. Piece of cake. You can do that, those 5 rules on the first day. Number 2, I have a question online. What classifies a student leader? Anyone that you believe who's not intimidated to stand up in front of the class. This is where you bring in your clownish kids. You know, the kid who likes to goof off, let him be silly on task. If he's weaving the golden thread of fun through instruction, he's weaving correctly. That's what a student leader is. Let's go back to the screen. Classroom procedures number 2. Every common procedure is mastered by the end of week 1. Start keeping class records on the board. Use the scoreboard. Go to the three-peat. Papers out, out, out. You say papers. They say papers out, out, out. And Farrah Shipley, please notice, Farrah Shipley's kindergartners can get the papers out, get the papers in under 10 seconds. Now, pay attention. There's 2 ways to count. You can either say 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can say 15, 14, 13, 12. Count down to 0. But keep our tally on the scoreboard. Make it fun. We want the procedures so fast by the end of the first week. Why? Because I talk to teachers across the country and they're telling me in the spring it takes forever for kids to open their books. Shame on us. Yes, my friends. All right. All right, my friends, we're continuing to broadcast. Hit refresh on your browser if you need to. I'm now on screen 3. Student names and info. This is very, very important. Very important. Learn everybody's name. And I showed you a trick in the first hour broadcast for learning everybody's name. But then that's not enough. I want you to gain student info with sentence frames. I like, I want, I have. Let's talk about that. You need to know not just every kid's name, but stuff about them by the end of the first week. So you give them sentence frames to talk to their neighbors about or to write down over and over again. I like cats. I like my brother. I want a scooter for Christmas. Lots of sentence frames. This is going to give you information about who these kids are. And I'm getting towards a big point, my friends. I'm putting on my hat, and I'm going to let you see me putting on my hat. Hat's on. The reason that the hat is on is so that I can take it off in a few seconds. I don't like to take my hat off unless I first have it on. Are you with me? Now, first week, every kid has one praise talk. Use a checklist. What do I mean? By the end of the first week, I don't care. I mean, I care. Andrea Schindler, our incredible early education expert, has 39 kindergarten kids, Farrah Shipley, 39. But even with 39, we want to have each kid have a little bit of praise by the end of the first week. Maria, you're really good at keeping your hands to yourself. Jason, excellent writing. You keep a checklist. Every kid gets some one-on-one praise by the end of the first week. No lost kids. I'm going to stress this. Here we go. No lost kids. What about 150 students? Then you praise them in groups. Maybe it's going to take you a couple of days to get it done. Praise them as they're coming in. Praise them as they're leaving. Everyone gets something positive said to them, and no kid gets lost. We have kids who sink below the radar in the first week, and we don't get to them for a long time. Here it is, my friends. Here is The huge point coming. Huge point coming. Bigger than huge, actually. Here it is. Every kid gets an equal amount of attention. No invisible students. Listen to me. This is huge. I'm taking off the hat. I'm taking off the glasses. You know it's serious now. Every one of our kids must get an equal amount of attention. It's not, oh, some kids get a lot of attention and other kids, because they're good or quiet, get no attention. No, my friends, they all deserve the same portion of your love. I've got a big bowl of love here, and everybody gets a dipper full. All year long, pay attention to be sure that everybody gets the same amount. Does that make sense to you, my online friends? I hope it does. I'll put my hat back on and my glasses. You're right, Madison. Kate, yes. You see it? I've done it. What am I asking you to do? I'm not asking you to do as I say. I'll take the hat off again. I'm asking you to do as I didn't do. Get it? Everybody, equal amount of attentions, no favorites. Do you have favorite children? Of course you don't. These are your children. You love them all. You with me? All right, my friends. Yes, that's what we mean. I'm going now to my next point. Now remember, I've got 10 points to make here. Let's look at the full screen. Core 4. By the end of week 1, your kids should know the class yes, scoreboard, mirror, and teach okay. Practice hands folded. Practice full turn. Practice big gestures. I'm going to say class, you say yes, and when I do, boom, hands folded. Class, yes. Again, class, yes. I'm going to say class, you're going to say yes, and your hands are folded. Real fast. Class, yes. Just practice that piece. Then I'm going to say teach, you're going to say okay, and turn to your neighbor. Teach, okay. Class, yes. I say teach, you say okay, and turn to your neighbor. Practice those little bits in the first week so that you get the hands folded, the full turn, and the big gestures. When you use the big gestures to your neighbor, I want you to count 1, 2, 3 over and over again. Just work on polishing the core 4. Now, I'll tell you what. Rarely happens with the coach. Yeah, it rarely happens. With the three-peat, you say papers, they say papers, out, out, out. By the end of the first week, you might go to the two-peat. You say papers, they say papers, out, out. Second or third week, the one-peat. Papers, papers out. You with me? The three-peat, the two-peat, the one-peat. Put that in your memory file. Now let's look at this screen. By the end of the second day, you could add mirror words, even hands and eyes. Mirror words is easy to add. You just say, mirror words, say my words, listen to me, look at me. If you talk in that cadence, they will say your words. And hands and eyes is very easy to do. Second or third day, you should have everything in place. The 5 rules, the scoreboard, the teach okay, the mirror, the hands and eyes. Switch we haven't talked about, but you can get most of these by the end of the second or third day. Here is my next point. Another huge point coming. Huge point coming. Here it is. Use the scoreboard. Day 1 through 5, a minimum of 15 smileys and 15 frownies by the end of the day. This is a very big point. Such a big point, I'm whipping on the cap to take off the cap. The scoreboard works if you work it. You're in secondary, I'm saying in 1 hour you got 5 smileys and 6 frownies. I'm sorry, my friends, you earned 1 extra page of homework. Use the scoreboard, make it part of your lesson plan. It's the motivator, and there's a ton of information on the scoreboard, including 15 different ways to use the scoreboard. Let's find where this wonderful information is about the scoreboard. Check it out. I'm going up here to levels. I'm going to level 1, the scoreboard. I'm on the website now. Here's the website. I'm in the scoreboard article here. See, I'm in the scoreboard article. Lots of different variations. Look at all those variations on the scoreboard. I said 15, and goodness gracious, there's 16 variations on the scoreboard. Use it, my friends. All right, let's go on to our next big point. I'll move this over so that you can read it. I'm taking another shot at California Clear. All right. Oral writing. End of the first week. Oral writing, you ask a question, they give an answer, and then you get some adders. You cup your ear for the answer, you roll your fingers for the adders, and your goal is that your kids, except maybe in kindergarten, should be able to speak a 4-sentence paragraph and answer to your question. So if you say, "What is your name?" they say, "My name is Juan." If you do this, that means, give me another sentence about who you are. So this is your cue. Whenever you ask a question, you need to get a complete sentence answer. And when you do this, after they get this, when you do this, you want another sentence. Your goal is to get a quad. Tell your neighbors, "A quad is wonderful. I want a quad." Kids will get jacked up to get a quad because it just sounds cool. Let's look a little bit more at samples of oral writing. Each answer contains part of the question. You, what's your name? Student, my name is Juan. You, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is blue. What is your favorite food? My favorite food is spinach. What is 4 times 4? 4 times 4 equals 16. Let's get the academic vocabulary in there. Do you use oral writing with kindergartners? You bet you do. Takes a little longer. We don't want the 1-sentence answer. We say, all right, I'm going to show you baby talk. Baby talk is I ask you a question, you give me a 1-sentence answer. What's your name? Mary. Give her a 10-finger woo. That's baby talk. Woo. Good example of what not to do. What's your favorite color? Blue. Yes. Tell your neighbor, we're not babies. See? Demonstrate the wrong way to get the right way. Work on the full sentence answers. Please pay attention, you kinder teachers, to Ms. Shipley. She's one of our top early education specialists. She'll give you the benchmarks of where you should be and what you should hit. All right, I'm up to number 6. Red-green marker writing. 10 minutes a day minimum. Maybe they're just making letters for about 5 minutes a day in kindergarten. Focus on neatness all week. Compare the first day with the current day. Praise, 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 improvement, not ability. Listen to me. Glasses, staying on for a second. First week, they're writing 10 minutes a day on an open-ended assignment, plenty to write about. You don't say write about this. You set it up so there's so much to write about. Sentence frames, whatever. You don't tell them write a paragraph because they write a paragraph and say, I'm done. No, you write for 10 minutes continuously. I'm just looking for one thing. That is neatness. We have a program about red-green marker writing, and what you're praising is not ability. I'm taking the glasses off now. Listen. No more praise of ability. That's radical, what I'm talking to you now. You praise improvement. It's not going to be the creme de la creme of the kids, the aristocratic kids with their high-level ability who are sopping up all of the love feast. You don't want to single out the good students. You single out the improving students. That's what we're looking for. That means level playing field. No matter what your skill is, my cold eye is on you. See, there's my cold eye. My cold eye is on you. I'm looking for improvement, my friends. And when I see it, boom, you're going to get some praise. Try to clarify what you mean by improvement. Look, Juan, here's your capital letters on Monday. Here's your capital letters today. Give Juan a 10-finger woo. Mary, your hands were all over the place. On Monday, you've got your hands folded now. Clarify what you mean by improvement. Why do we want improvement? Because it's the best thing for kids to shoot for. It gives every kid an equal chance to participate in the love feast that comes from you. Here's the point. I'm going to hammer this point tonight. Another huge point coming. Listen to me. Praising ability maintains the student aristocracy. The cans are the aristocrats. They reap the rewards. The cants are the peons. They look on with hungry envy. Praising improvement destroys the student aristocracy. Let me get in here. Praising improvement destroys the student aristocracy. Equal expectations and rewards for all students. Perfect democracy. Everyone must exceed their previous best effort. All citizens of your society have an equal right to rewards. Will you tell me, my online audience, number one, how radical an idea that is? That we're not praising ability? What? What did he say? We're not praising ability? What do we praise? We are praising what we should be praising. Growth. Anybody into growth out there? Yes. That's our message. And I see some online radical revolutionaries. Now pay attention, my friends. Calm down. Oh man, your screens are flying by. As clearly as you can, model what improvement looks like. Many of you are doing X, but an improvement would be Y. Here's X, here's Y, teach. So, let me get in here. You show them what X means, you show them what Y means, clap twice and say teach, and they teach each other the difference between what we were doing and what we should be doing. Improve, improve, improve. Improve as a class, improve as a table, improve as an individual. Here we go. As clearly as you can, distinguish between a student's previous X behavior and current Y behavior. And yes, should we be improving as teachers? That's a pretty good idea there, Budsley. Ponzi, you're right. We would be the best in the world. That's all we have to do is focus on improvement. Here is Maria's best writing from yesterday. Here's Maria's best writing from today. Every sentence starts with a capital. What a wonderful improvement. All right, my friends, I think a lot of you are getting the radical message. Let's go to our next point. Genius ladder. Now, the genius ladder is fully described in webcast 504, so I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. This is our daily language arts exercise. You start, I'm going to go this way. You start with a blah sentence. Article, noun, verb. The girl laughs. Then you tell the kids, let's take out the verb. You put in, the girl jumps. The girl coughs. The girl eats. So you get them to substitute verbs for a minute. Then you take out the verb. The blank laughs. They learn what a noun and a verb is. Then you go up to the spicy level. The big girl laughs. Pull out the adjective, let them pop in adjectives over and over again. By pop in, I say they say it to each other. You get more reps than in writing. Next level up on the genius ladder, the big girl laughs in the woods. And you can apply it to any subject. The volcano explodes. Extender is just adding some words onto the end. And then you want them to start writing a genius paragraph in which they're using an extender sentence with his other detailed sentences afterwards. That's where the writing kicks in at that point. Look at the genius ladder. It adapts to any level. In kindergarten, you just start with a blah sentence or a baby talk sentence. All right, my friends, I'm already up to point number 8. Every state or Common Core standard must be on your PowerPix wall. Each must have a gesture and a definition. End of the first week, 4 PowerPix by Friday on week 1. Review several times. I'm going to ask Mrs. Shipley in kindergarten, our outstanding kindergarten instructor. Mrs. Shipley, how many PowerPix are you looking at for those explosive kinders that you have down there in Lubbock, Texas by the end of the first week? Tell us, Mrs. Shipley. I'll read your answer here. 10 by the end of the first week in kindergarten. Okay? Shooting star, does that answer your question? 4 in language arts and 4 in math? Fantastic. That's what we're looking for. Now, what do we mean by a PowerPix? Let me show you what we mean by a PowerPix. We have a ton of them online under free ebooks. So we've written and made images for hundreds of Common Core standards, and Scrap Bunny has changed these into Common Core standards for us. But whatever you teach, you've got to put it on the wall. If you're teaching alphabetical order and there isn't a PowerPix for that, just put the words alphabetical order up on a sheet of paper. Show them a gesture, give them a definition. The standards must be on the wall. Glasses coming off. How many times has this happened to you? You taught apostrophes 2 weeks ago and whoop! It's as if they've never heard the word before. Why? You never mentioned it again. Put it on the wall. Review, review, review. Why do you review? Repetition grows dendrites. It's the only thing that grows dendrites. Drink healthy fruit drinks all you want. It will not grow your dendrites unless you drink them repeatedly. Then it'll grow dendrites for how to drink healthy fruit drinks. Repetition. Practice makes permanent. Here's another Power Picks for you. We've got a ton of them. Look under free ebooks. Here's bar graph. Notice that there's a question and answer in little teeny white writing right up here and a gesture. Here's your Power Picks wall. I just put in some filler picks. 1, 2, 3, 4 down the side. A, B, C, D, E, F, G across. And then you put a star or a sticky on the gnarlies. Check it out. You get your state standards up there, and then you put yellow stickies on the gnarlies. I want you to turn to your neighbors and just work on the gnarlies. What's the question? What's the answer? What's the gesture? Just the gnarlies. Or row number 1 or column C. Review, review, review. Now, we've done Power Picks through the 3rd grade. And if you look at the 3rd grade Power Picks, there's a ton of them there that will apply all the way into secondary. Here's your Power Picks wall for math. Notice the color coding. 6th grade science, Mel Stott, it's time for you to break out your graphics program and make some for 6th grade science. You're going to teach it over and over again, these same standards. At least put the word up there. Dehydration, chlorophyll, evaporation, alluvial fan. You leave the Power Picks up all the time. You never take them down. If you want them to learn them. What about the kids? Listen to me now. Listen. There's Nervous Nita. Nervous Nita says, all right, I see where you're going with the first week, but what about the kids who won't go along? My friends, I have an answer for you. In fact, I have a lot of answers for you. I'll give you the easy answer first. The easy answer is this. Recess practice. Focus on getting the majority to follow the rules, and then use 30 seconds of rule recess practice for high-spirited kids if you really have to. That means you take Maria aside and you say, I'm not mad at you, but I need you to practice for 30 seconds the gesture, raise your hand for permission to speak. Just over and over again, rule 2, hand for permission, for 30 seconds. You give her a stopwatch or a kitchen timer. She does it for 30 seconds. Now, I'm saying this with a big asterisk. The first week, you should not have to be worried about the kids who won't go along. You've got enough problems getting the kids who will go along to go along. That's your focus in the first week. But I want you to know you've got something in your back pocket. You've heard a legend about this kid for 4 years. Kid's a real doozy. 30 seconds of recess practice. Now, let me add some asterisks. Here's the screen. Before you try recess practice, be sure of the following. 1, you're using the scoreboard frequently. You're not identifying individuals for negative behavior, but you are identifying individuals for positive behavior. 1, use the scoreboard. 2, do not talk so long. I'm coming in here. Don't talk so long. The longer you talk, the wider you open the window for disruptive activity to come flooding into your room. Make your lessons crisp and fun. The golden thread of fun will keep kids on task. Use fun bursts. We talk about those in webcast 533. Practice the rules. Give your high-spirited kid a chance to be a rule leader. You know the student have had praise talks. Give that student some praise. Oh, tell me about your puppy that you wrote about. You're having the kids write about what they like. Use that to get over the wall with this high energy kid. And be sure the majority of kids are on board with your system. That's 8 things. Look at me. 8 things that you've got to be sure you've covered before you go to the recess cards. So don't. I just want you to know you could. Here's the big point. In other words, you have plenty of things to implement before recess practice. So you probably shouldn't in week 1. Now, how about the forgotten jewel of WBT wisdom? I promised it. You've been looking forward to it. Online audience, what do you think is the forgotten jewel of WBT wisdom? I'm taking a shot here at California Clear. It's your classroom? Farrah, that's a good try, but no. That is not a forgotten jewel because we mention it all the time. Have fun? Folks, it can't be something we're talking about all the time. Budsley, good try, but we talk about the golden thread. Parent involvement is a good one, Jennifer. We don't have a solution for that. Have fun, teamwork. Nancy, even our director of WBT certification may be enlightened on this one. Here it comes. Pay attention. I'm going to the screen. Check it out. The forgotten jewel of WBT wisdom is the classroom management average. Give me an ah. At the end of week 1, on your own, you're going to score each kid on your own. Let me stress this. I'm coming in here. You're not showing this to your kids. Each of your model students, a model student is almost always on task. Each go-along frequently follows the model student. Each fence sitter, some days they're on task, some days not. Challenging student, rarely if ever on task. Get your roll sheet out. Secondary, you need to make a picture of these kids. And if you're in doubt, give them a 2. So give each kid a score, 4, 3, 2, or 1, based upon what you see at the end of the first week. Then, add up the scores of all the students and divide by the total number of kids. This will be your classroom management average. Let's say all your kids total up to 70 points, and you've got 35 kids. So 70 points divided by 35 means your classroom management average is 2.0. On average, your kids are fence sitters. It's going to be a challenging year. Classroom average calculated weekly. Your goal is to raise the average by 0.1 per month. Thus, after 10 months, every kid will have improved 1 entire level. Let's talk about this. You get into a situation as an instructor that you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. Veteran teachers, you know what I'm talking about. Newbies, you're in 3 weeks and you don't know if you're getting anywhere. End of first week, classroom management average. End of second week, classroom management average. That allows you to focus on each individual kid and gives you a snapshot. And with the classroom management average, you will see change. But change in classroom management moves at the pace of a glacier. You need to see that you're getting somewhere. Can you dig this forgotten jewel? Let's look at this screen. Classroom management often improves at a glacial pace. You need to see that you're making weekly progress. Begin by helping your go-alongs to move up to model students and your model students to move up to leaders. Help the easiest kids to help first. Big point. Your challenging kids are a long-term project. The more kids you have on your side, the more that you've created this atmosphere of crisp, fast lessons, the better that atmosphere is to show your challenging kids what you expect, and it also cuts you some slack so you can address them later. So, look at your go-alongs. Think to yourself, what do I have to do to get Latasha to move from a 3 to a 4? Jerome is a 4, baby. What do I mean by student leader? How can I move him up to a 5? Move your 3s to 4s, your 4s to 5s. That's the first thing you need to focus on. Classroom management average. That is the forgotten jewel of whole brain teaching. Online audience, can you dig that forgotten jewel? You do not share their averages with kids. Huge point. Thank you for bringing that up. You don't show the kids what they are. You keep it to yourself. Your cards are in your hand. Otherwise, you're praising ability and you're criticizing lack of ability. It's all about improvement. Get out of that student aristocracy. It is a jewel. Use it every week. It's like a game. How long does it take you? 5 minutes for you to see where each kid is in terms of classroom behavior? Let's say you see a kid drop out of the ranking. Go to that kid and say, what's going on at home? What about the fun burst? We talked about the fun burst last week. Use the fun burst. Normal fun and then high-speed fun burst. Normal fun. Normal fun, class yes, scoreboard, mirror, teach okay. And then go with the 3-beat. Real fast. Pick it up. All we mean by a fun burst is you get everyone's attention with class yes, then you give directions that must be followed quickly, or you state a review topic, and you mark the scoreboard if the students are fast or slow. Change your tempo. Huge point. I want to keep emphasizing this. When you say class, you need the yes, because you want them to be high energy, and then boom, back with you. Just practice. High energy, class, yes. Kids like that rapid alteration. It's like the game freeze tag. I'm running and, oh, I got to freeze. Now, the hands folded after class yes is a different thing than hands and eyes. In hands and eyes, you say hands and eyes, and that means I'm about to make a big point. And if their hands are folded, they'll go hands and eyes and refold them. Because it's such a big point, I got to fold my hands again. Let's look at a review. Here are the 10 things we talked about. Learn the 5 rules with gestures. Classroom management procedures should be crisp. Learn the student names and something about each kid. Practice your core 4. Get started with oral writing. Get your red-green marker writing going. Use the Genius Ladder, no matter what your subject is, to build students' abilities to speak and write complex sentences. Get 4 power picks up in each of your subjects. Think faintly about recess practice, and calculate the classroom management average. Now, what's the one main goal for week 1? Online audience. What do you say the one main goal is for week 1? I'm taking a drink of California Clear. Practice, yeah. Rule 1, Diva, you're right. You guys. Super Improver Wall, we think, should start in the second week. So yeah, here it is. Practice Rule 1, follow directions quickly. That's your main focus in the first week because it saves time all the way down the line. But now, anything else? What's the second thing that should be your focus in the first week? You want them following directions quickly. Teaching content, yeah, that's pretty good. Here it is, folks. Many of you got it. Praise improvement. Praise improvement, praise improvement, praise improvement. You do those two things. Kids are following directions quickly, and they understand what you're looking for. What is this teacher about? What is this class about? What is this experience about? On the playground, in the lunch line, outside of class, inside of class, with each other, writing, math. What are we looking for? Improvement. That is what we're looking for. There's my improvement gesture. So by the end of the first week, by the end of week 1, your kids will be focused on 2 goals: following directions quickly and improving. How positive an atmosphere and how clear an atmosphere is that. Well, now, my friends, here's the situation. Here's Ms. Linenthal. Check it out. Gosh, week 1 goals sound great, but how could I get professional development credit for this broadcast and a copy of these slides? Ms. Linenthal, I'm glad you asked that question. My friends, I have some unhappy news. Unhappy news. We are now a victims of our success. Last week we had webcasts with 400 people online, and the week before that we had a webcast with 400 people online. And people are using the webcast during the week. Livestream charges us based upon how many people are using the webcasts. Yes. Can you see where this is going? We are allotted 3,000 hours of viewership. This month, by the 4th day of the month, we'd used up the 3,000 hours. Then they start charging us overages. It's only 27 cents per viewer hour. Last month, our fee to live stream was $1,350. This month, it's going to be even more. So I don't know what to do. I hate this moment. But I'm going to say this. We're going to try to hang on to this as long as we can. If we lose it, then we'll go to an alternate form of presentation. But I just want you to know we're so successful. We're breaking the bank. All right, enough said. Here is the information for tonight. If you want professional development credit, go to PayPal and donate $5.34. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do as a special deal. If you donate $6.34 or $7.34 or $25.34, I'll just pay attention to the 34 cents and send you a PDF. That will tell me that you're making an extra donation. We've got to get past this. I don't know what to do, but that's my idea as of tonight. We will send you a PDF with all the slides, with professional development certificate. And we're getting much better at doing these. Now, what would you like for next week, my friends? What would you like? I'll tell you what I hope you're going to like. Next week's program is Oh So Simple Lesson Plans. Give me an oh yeah. What are the key words there? Oh so simple. Yes. Yes, my friends. Oh so simple next Tuesday night. And remember, Thursday, we'll have a chat in the chat box at the same time. We're having nightly chats, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. So come and chat with us. Any questions? Some of you say, why won't you come to my backyard? I'd love to come to your backyard. Actually, I'd rather come to your administrator's backyard. Get an administrator to send me an email. Let's see if we can get a conference in your area. Walla Walla Wambler, work on it. I love the name. The chat is the same place as this. Friday night is second grade chat. The chat does affect the viewing hours, but we're going to keep going until we're broke. All right, my friends, any questions? I'm really enjoying these Tuesday night live broadcasts. Everybody's on the edge of their seat, ready to go for the school year. I'll come to your class. Let me teach your class for you. The writing game, we postpone that a little bit later. All right, my friends. Work on your certification. Let's look at how you work on certification. I'm going to go to my main screen, and we've got more goodies coming up for you in certification. We're going to turn certification into a great big game, even more of a game than it is now. For tonight, you're posting your essay down here, week 1 goals, but don't do that before you read about certification right here. See? There's a little arrow here on the, and it tells you what the essay should be and what you get for the points, and dream. Anybody dreaming of becoming a WBT certified international presenter? Talk to me. Is that ringing anybody's bell? International presenter? Because you know what? It looks like I'll be going to South Africa without you this time. Yeah, I've been to Istanbul without you. Come on, work on your certification. Dream big, Georgia teacher. Brainiac, send me an email about South Africa. I got dibs on the Paris gig, though, my friends. Pay attention to Kate Boski. She will proof your essays, and so will Pine Triella. All right, my friends, here's what we say every night. Every Tuesday night. God bless us. Power to the teachers. Let the names of where you are roll down the screen, my friends. Let it roll. Alabama, Ohio, Michigan, Mesquite, Texas, Port Charlotte, Florida, Oklahoma, and Georgia, North Muskegon, Michigan, Central Texas, New Hampshire, Bakersfield, Virginia, Monterrey, Mexico, oh yeah, St. Robert, Missouri, Saskatchewan, Canada, San Diego, California. All my friends, I can't wait to see you next week. Wib on, as we say.